Hello folks, we're going to talk about building a buzzard today. I've got a few bits and bobs on the table, including this cool little exhaust that's going in the middle of the bonnet. I've got a ram, I've got a piece of a Matchbox Ford Capri, it's going to go on the back as a piece of armour, and I've got a Citroen 2CV that I've already put mesh in the window and I've done a slight modification underneath. But that's not the point, this is the point. Just making spikes. So I've got some different bits of cut of stock, Plasticard stock. I've got I-beam ×2, got a rod, got a rectangular rod, and I've got a tube as well. All I'm going to do is cut them so I can make some spikes. Got a new blade in my scalpel as well. So I've got an angled cut in this tube already. So if I go straight, then angled, then straight, then angled, then straight, then angled, and shoot them all across the room like a knob. Joyous. If I keep on doing that for all the stock, I'll end up with loads of spikes, so bear with me for a second. And we're back. Now, like me, you're prone to being a clumsy bugger, either sneezing, blowing, breathing out heavily, knocking the table or anything like that. These are going to fly everywhere, so I've stuck them in a little pot. I haven't done a vast amount. I've got a good mix of different shapes, lengths, sizes. They all have got a spike on the end, and that's the whole point. Other things I'm going to be using is some super glue and a kicker or activator. I use this Bondit activator. I can't honestly remember where I got it from, but if I remember, I'll stick a link below. All that means is it just makes the super glue set straight away, which is what we want. Just need a file as well. I'm just going to file down the middle of the bonnet here. Where I want my exhaust to sit. Which is one of my only styling cues on this. There is no interior in this vehicle, so I might have to put some mesh in. But we're not sticking the two halves together yet. That's where I want my little exhaust. Missed it by about a mile the first time. There's my kicker. Gonna mount my ram as well. Probably mount that to the front bumper. See if there's enough clearance first of all. Butterfingers. It should work okay. I might not do it around, I'm not sure yet. So with this armour plate on the back, the thing about buzzards, and I was talking about this to someone yesterday, is that in the film Fury Road, obviously you see them for a very, very brief amount of time. So you see their vehicles all covered in spikes. And if you watch one of the making of videos, one of the art directors talked about how the whole point of them is they destroy other vehicles and then use the metal on their vehicles. That's why they've all got rusty, multi-directional, real haggard spikes on them. And you read the comics, there's a bit of a backstory to the buzzards as well, that's what they're like. So I'm thinking is this piece of bonnet can be used as a piece of rear armour. I'd mount it on there, and then what I'd do is I'd mount spikes on it. So what I'm going to do for the purpose of this video being nice and short is I'm going to mount a load of spikes on this bonnet in time lapse. I'll show you what it looks like, and then I'm going to mount all the spikes on the vehicle off camera. That keeps the video nice and short then. Let's get on with it. Right then folks, what we've done is I've added spikes to this panel here. I've also added mesh off camera and glued the base to it. So I'm going to mount this on the back. Yeah, this green stuff works super glue. This is slightly thicker super glue, but I'm nearly out of it, so bear with me a sec. The thing about the Buzzard as a build is you can liberally apply super glue and it'll just look like welds afterwards, which is always handy and fun. Bit of the kick out. It's not on properly, you want to say. There we go. We've already got back panel. I'm gonna go around and put a load of spikes all over this, and then we'll come back afterwards. And there we go, folks. I love symmetry, so it pains me to have to randomly put things on, but get some sort of pattern to it. The roof is a bit too square though, they are very even. But yeah, what do you reckon? So I haven't gone every single panel. I could probably put a couple here and here, maybe the top of the doors. Just for the look itself, it looks pretty good. I've added some to the spike on the front. It's still drying. I used polystyrene cement because they'll melt together. That bit's moved. 1 second. It's the only problem with polystyrene cement is it takes an age to go, unlike the kicker with the super. So yeah, painting next. So I'm gonna base coat this black like I normally do. Use a combination of different rusty stuff. This is just going to be basically orange with a bit of red, because they're super rusty in both the film, in the Mad Max computer game, and in the concept art slash comic books as well. So we red that up, and we'll come back once it's painted. All right then, folks, and we're back. I've just sprayed this in a red oxide primer. I'm pretty much halfway there to finish paint effect now. What I've got here is some Micron Flash Shade for Citadel, and a really crappy old brush, like super crappy. Just gonna go everywhere liberally. Just give it some shade. I'll let it dry, and then we'll come right back. Right, that's just drying now. For some reason my camera's gone a bit weird. It has someone forever. So now it's drying, and it's where I want it to be. What I've done here is I've mixed up PVA glue and water, 2 parts PVA, 1 part water, so it's sort of, it sticks to the brush. And I've got my DIY weathering powders I made from Pound Shop, so the £1 shop, or Dollar Tree, whatever you want to call them in the States. Chalk pastels. So the aim of the game is obviously to apply some rust to the surface. You can see it runs around a little bit, but the more powder to liquid you've got, the sturdier it will be. So I'm going to apply that, the dark rust coloured first, and this ochre colour, and I've got a bright orange colour as well. It's these pound, like a quid, as us in Britain call it, Pound Shop chalk pastels. Well worth it. I smashed it up with a rolling pin in a bag. I don't have a pestle and mortar, so yeah, so dead easy. I'm looking for like a scabby look, so we've got a couple of different consistencies on here. These are out of like Posh chocolates. The colour I've got here is pretty much exactly the same as the base colour, unfortunately, so I might lighten it up slightly in a second. As you can see, gives it a rusty effect. So I used, here's that slightly lighter orange, 2 seconds. There we go. I used the slightly, this is more of an earthier colour. The reason I'm using this, and rather than any of the pigment powders or liquids I've already got, is just to show you what can be done. Doesn't take a lot. Doesn't take a lot of special stuff either. You can do it with unspecial things. Like I say, like some cheap pack of pastels, chalk pastels have to be, that you've ground down, some PVA glue and water mixed. PVA glue and water are basically like a binder to keep it on there. What should happen is once it's dry, it should look very bitty, like dust again. Not 100% because I've watered it down quite a lot. But that's how it should look. You can see the colours coming through now. I should do the rest off camera and I'll come back. Right, we're back. Managed to lose a spike somehow. which is annoying. As you can see, once it's dried, it gives a proper crusty, rusty mess. But you can do as well, as it's drying, add a little bit more powder into it, like I have here, just as an example, and a little bit on the bonnet to make it really, really crusty and rusty. So it's all orange. Great. It's all rusty. Great. We can improve it a little bit with a couple of quick steps. I've got a matte black, a shining silver, and an orange, which is I've decanted into a dropper bottle. It's a Citadel paint on in a little pot. What I'm going to do some dry brushing quickly. I've chose these three over my dry brush paints because the whole point of this, like the last couple of tutorials, have been to make it easier without having to buy special paints. I do apologise for the scream in the background. It's my daughter's bath time and she is going berserk. So same as before in the dry brushing technique, on a brush, a little bit of black, any way you want. The point of this is if you start off with small layers, so there's still black on the brush, and you're going to go all over, and then I'm rushing this, so we'll go back and do it again off camera, and then we'll have the final reveal. Obviously a little bit too much silver there, oopsie, bit of silver, because although see the silver's coming up nice, although we're a rusty crusty mess, we still want a little bit of silver in places, like on the windows, as if it's been bashed against stuff. So obviously when metal hits other metal, it doesn't rust instantaneously. This engine-y bit poking out, what I've added. What you can do with this style of dry brushing is you can stipple as well. So when I say stipple, you can just hammer the surface with the brush. So the taser blade on the front. Give that some love. Bit of love down the side. A little bit more paint. So the good thing about Gaslands, unlike other sort of model-based hobbies, is there's no right or wrong. It's however you want it to be. If this was 1/40,000, for example, and I wanted to do a whole rusty army, someone somewhere on the internet would be absolutely losing their biscuits. The world would come to a grinding halt in their realm. Nothing against people with neck beards, but it'll be a neck beard of some kind. Okay, and I've got some silver all over as I've seen fit. Small amount of pure orange, so this is a nice bright orange. I've left the silver on the brush still, so it tags it down a little bit already, and then back over anywhere I want. And you go backwards and forwards with this many times as you want. Where that one's broken off, let's stipple on a bit of silver. And you go backwards and forwards between the colours until you've got the finished article. Right, we'll come back once I've done this again, another run or two through, and we'll come back and we'll be in the light box and we'll be able to see it up in all its glory. Right then folks, there we go. Excuse the very imperceptible rocking. My tripod's cupped, so it's not holding very steady. But yeah, that's what we come up with. Broken another spike off, but I've glued it back on. They are quite delicate, especially on curved surfaces, curved areas. Let me just zoom in for a second. There we go. Came out super nice. Really happy with it. So happy with it. I've started building another one. There's willies. So I've started building another one. Put a flamethrower on the top, and a little skull on it. Done it slightly differently. Same style with the spikes though. A few more spikes on the front, no ram. Yeah, love it. Like I say, you can use the most technical techniques, or you can use the most simple techniques to get these sort of things done. The purpose of the video is just to show that you don't need the acres of weathering products that I've got kicking about, all the paints in the world, etc. Just a couple of paints, or to go to the pound shop, buy some chalk pastels and get cracking. All right then folks, I shall speak to everyone next time. Stay safe, happy building.